Good morning. This is Chauke. I'm a professional teacher and tutor for accounting. If you're watching this, you are definitely at the right place. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button down there, and also make sure that you share this lesson with your friends and loved ones. So in this morning's lesson, we're going to be focusing on how to post from the journals to the ledger accounts, and this is one of the easiest questions where learners can in marks, but it depends on how well do you understand your subsidiary journals and also the steps of the accounting equation. Because remember, the first step says that the transaction take place, we record in the source documents, then we record in the subsidiary journals, then we post to the general ledger. So this is step number 4 from what you did in grade 9. So please make sure that if you don't understand those prior steps, make sure that you start by understanding them, because this is a process. You're moving from one area to the other. Now when it comes to the ledger account, what you need to do, you need to firstly make sure that you enter the opening balances that are given to you. And if you look at this, we are required to do our trading stock, creditors control, as well as the sales account. Now what you need to check, actually you need to remember a principle called, I'm going to draw some principles that can help you to remember this. There's a principle called dead click, but I will start with dead. D is for debit. D is for debit, meaning that these things increase on the debit side. So it will mean that these things increase on the debit side and they decrease on the credit side. So I'm going to give you a list of those things that increase on the debit side, which starts with our expenses. So our expenses increase on the debit side and decrease on the credit side. Then we'd have our assets, and then we'll lastly have our drawings. So these are the things that are increasing on the debit side and decreasing on the credit side. And then from there, you then have to make sure that you also remember the other part of the click part of the acronym. So for click, it simply means that these are the things that are increasing on the credit side. So in other words, these things, they increase on the credit side and decrease on the debit side. Now after you're done with this, you then start with your the L is for liabilities. So L is for liabilities, and then the I is for incomes, and then the last letter, which is C, is for capital. Now when you do your ledger accounts, it's very important that you remember, you try by all your means to remember that click, because you cannot deal with the ledger accounts without understanding this. This is where we start. You need to know where does each and every account increase and decrease, and what are the things that will make that particular account to increase and to decrease. Okay, so let's now go to our transactions. So here they are saying that number 1, you must prepare your trading stock, you must prepare your creditors control, and also the sales account. And they are saying that we need to close them off, meaning that there are some marks that are dedicated to also closing off these accounts. The ones that are being balanced are the ones like your sales, because this is an account that must be it must be closed off at the end of the year. But these ones, they must be closed off. That's why you'll see them having balance brought down for the next year. Okay, but this one is closed off because it is an expense. So let's start. Our trading stock at the beginning of the year is 83,000. So we're going to go to our ledger account and see if it has been entered for us. If you look here, they've entered the 83,000 for us, so there's no need for us to enter it. Next, we have our creditors control. If you check, the balance of creditors control is 22,000. It must be on the credit side of the ledger account for creditors control. Here it is showing that indeed it does increase on the credit side and reduce on the debit side. Next account that we have is your sales. Your sales, if you look at this, your sales is given to you here, and they are saying that your sales increases on the credit side, hence you have the total brought down on the credit side. So now what we need to do then is to check the information that has happened during the year. Here they're saying that these are the totals from the journals at the end of the month of 30 April. Now it depends on what firstly are you going to start with. So my suggestion is that let's start with sales account because it is the most simplest one. So we're going to start with our sales. Now every journal where we are seeing sales, we will then have to record in the we'll then have to record in the sales account. So you can see here in the cash receipt journal we have the sales, because remember some of the sales that we are making, they come from cash, right? So we are going to have here on our credit side, we are going to have I'll call it total cash sales, but some learners might write total receipts and they will still be right. So here I'll write total, let me use a black one. So I'll write total I'll write total sales here, total sales, and remember we need to write the date here. So it's going to be 2023 April date. Okay, so this is how we will record this, and then you tell us in the folio, you tell us where did you get this information. We got it from the CRJ, so we'll write CRJ here, and then the total of our sales column in the cash receipt journal is 92,000. This means that this is the money that we have gotten for sales from our cash sales in the CRJ, which is 92,000. Now when a learner has done this, they already have 2 months for just doing this part. Okay, now we go to the next column. Is there anywhere where I'm seeing sales? I have to go to the data journal. I will definitely see my sales. Here it is, I see sales. Then once I see sales, then I know that my sales will have to be recorded in the sales account. So this means that these are the total. Remember here, Elena can also say, they can actually say total cash sales. Here they will say total cash sales. They will even be marked right. Okay, so total cash sales, or they will say total receipts. But for now I'm just helping you to understand, but please say total receipts, because this will tell us that this is the total money that we have gotten from the sales. So it will make much better sense if you say total receipts here. Okay, and then remember here we'll then have total credit sales here, total credit sales. Remember your sales increases whether you sold on credit or cash, it will increase, and we saw this in the DJ data journal. So which means that the total sales for us will be, if you look at this, it's going to be 10,000. So that 10,000 will come here. We'll write that 10,000 here. And if you are hearing some noise, this is because we don't have electricity in Hammaskral, so I'm using backup, hence it will make some noise that will disrupt our lesson. And then from there we need to check, is there any returns that were made? So here I'll write 2023 April 30. Then the 30 will actually has to be written here. They gave you a space for the day, so the 30 can come here, and then also here we can remove this 30 here. So if they gave you a column for the day, use it. So this is the column for the day, but so now we need to check if there were any returns that were made that will reduce our sales. So we need to check for total returns, total, or you can just write sundry returns. And then where am I going to see this? In the DAJ, they will always give you the DAJ for those return. So you see we have the debtors allowance here for 2000, so that 2000 will come here. Okay, so we have that 2000 here. Now if we have to balance this, you'll realize that there's a section where they are saying that they are expecting that whenever we calculate it will, the amount that will take to the trading account should be 220,000, but we will see if this agrees. So now let's see here, when we calculate 120,000 plus 92,000 and then plus 10,000, it gives us 222,000. This is the total that we should get on each and every site. Okay, so the total this side should be 222,000. And then remember that our then total trading account will be the amount that we're going to take to the trading account will be 220,000, because if you say 222,000 minus 2,000 will be 220,000, which is what you will take to your trading account when you look for your gross profit. But this is something that we're going to look at in term 3. So we are done with the first 6 marks. Let's go to the next one. Now the next one here is the trading stock. I think this is the one that also has got most of the marks, so you can just make sure that you go there and collect as much marks as possible. So let's start. Let's go to the top of our journals. Anywhere where we are seeing cost of sales and trading stock, we take it to that trading stock account. So look here, in the cash receipt journal we have some cost of sales, so which means that the trading stock that we have is reduced because we are selling. So we're going to come here and say cost of sales. Remember, the contra account of trading stock when we are selling is cost of sales. And then under the folio we are going to say, where did we see this? We saw this in the CRJ. And then what was the amount that we saw? The amount that we saw according to this is 57,500. So we'll write that 57,500 here, and then you have your 2 marks. Okay, and then next let's check what else happened. Let's go to the next journal. The next journal says that we have the cash payment journal. This means that this is where we bought stock. So if we bought stock, our trading stock will increase, and because it's cash, our contra account will be bank. So we'll come here and say 2023 April and the date here will be date, so just write date, and then we are going to say some learners might choose to write total cash purchases, so we can say total, we can just say bank, so say bank. And then remember, where did you see this information that we bought stock? You saw it in the CPJ. And then what was the amount for that? The amount was I think they said it's 30,400, so you just write that 30,400 here, and then you are halfway through with this. You already have marks even though you are not done. Then we continue to the next journal. Is there anywhere where I'm seeing trading stock? I'm seeing it here in the petty cash journal, right? So what am I going to do? I'm going to go to my trading stock, and then I will continue and say here I can write the name of the account is petty cash, the contra account. So I'll just write petty, I'll just write petty cash here. Okay, and then where did I see this? I saw this in the petty cash journal, so I'll just write PCJ, and then the amount is 1,200. So I'll have that 1,200 here. Okay, then I have my 2 marks for this. Then you go to the next one, next journal, where you are seeing cost of sales or trading stock. The next one here is the task journal. Now remember, in terms of the task journal, it means we sold on credit. But the most important thing is that our stock decreases. So we'll come here and say cost of sales again on the same day. We'll say cost of sales, and then the cost of sales that we have is from the DJ this time. So the amount that we have according to here is 6,250. So that 6,250 will come here, and then from there we go to the next one. Where do we see cost of sales? I see it in the task allowance journal. So it means that I'll come this side and say the task allowance. It means that these people are bringing back goods. So I'll just write the task allowance. So obviously, if customers bring back goods, the stock that we have will increase. Why am I seeing this? I saw this in the subsidiary journal called DAJ. Now, what is the cost of sales for these goods that were brought back? It's 1,250. So I'll write that 1,250 here. And then from there, I continue and check what else am I given that will increase or decrease my trading stock. I have here creditors journal. Creditors journal tells me that I bought stock on credit for 20,200. So what I will have here, I'll have creditors control. Creditors control. And then where am I seeing this? I'm seeing this in the CJ. What is the amount of that stock in the creditors control? According to here, it's 20,200. So write that 20,200 here. And then what do we have next? We have creditors allowance journal. Creditors allowance journal simply means that people were retaining goods. We're retaining goods to our supplier. So we'd have creditors allowance for 5,100, and I'll come this side and say creditors allowance. And then remember, this is our CAJ. So in the folio I'll write CAJ, and then our amount according to this will be our amount will be for the CAJ will be 5,100. Then we have that 5,100 here. Then from there, all I'm left to do is to close off these accounts. Now I know that obviously my debit side will be big. If you can check with what I have, it means my debit side will be big. So if I say 83,000 plus 30,400, and then plus 1.2 plus 1,250, and then plus 20,200, it will give me 136,050. So I have 136,050 here, but we'll confirm that amount, 136,050. So let's recalculate it again so that we can be sure if it's the appropriate one. So now 83,000 plus 30,400 plus 1.2 plus 1,250 plus 20,200 gives me 136,050. Then I'm going to take this amount. If you check, we are supposed to have a balance carried down here. So we'd have the balance carried down, meaning that this is the shortage. So that balance carried down will come this side. Okay, so you need to be careful with this. That balance carried down will come this side, which will have to be the balance brought down for 2023 May the 1st. Okay, so I would have my balance brought down here, and then the amount that I have for that brought down, it's going to be the difference that I'll get. So 136,050, I subtract 5,100 minus 6,250 minus 57,500. I'm getting 67,200, but let's check. 136,050 minus 5.1 minus 6,250 minus 57,500, it is giving us 67,200. So the balance carried down will be 67,200. You also make it your brought down here 67,200, and then you get your brought down. So you get your full marks, 15 marks. If you made a mistake somewhere, they will credit you where you've done things correctly. Okay, so now we are done with the trading stock. This is how easy it is. If you practice very well, it will be easy for you like this. Now let's check in terms of our creditors control. Anywhere where we are seeing creditors control, we are going to insert that information. Now let's start with the information that is freely available to us. Remember, in the cash payment journal, there will be a section where we are paying our creditors, right? Now normally when it's like this, I'll always encourage learners to wait a bit when it comes to this, and then from there what they will have to do is to check. They will have to then try to balance this. Okay, so we will do this after, but let's see. We don't have we know that under cash payment journal there's some way where we paid our creditors, right? So here on 2023 April, and then on the 30th would have 30 here. We have the 30 here. There's somewhere where we paid, so we'd say total payments here, total payments, and then this is from the CPJ. So even if maybe I don't know how to get that amount, I'll have 1 mark at least for knowing that it was supposed to be that, for knowing that this is supposed to be bank or total payments. And then we'll look for the amount after, and then let's check anyway where we are seeing creditors control. So we've used the one that we got in the CPJ. We don't have it in the PCJ, we don't have it in the DJ, we don't have it here. Creditors control, we do have some stock bought on credit, right? So which means that our liability is increasing here because we bought these things on credit. Now when it's like this, you don't record these things individually. All you have to do is to say total purchases. So we'll come this side and say total purchases, and then the amount. Where did we see this? We saw this in the creditors journal. The amount that we are talking about for those credit purchases is 32,000. So that 32,000 will come here. That 32,000 will come here. It will come here. Now next, what we have to check is our creditors allowance. Remember, means that we returned things back to the people that we bought from. So we have creditors allowance, which will reduce what you owe. So this side would have creditors allowance here. So we'd have creditors allowance, or some learners will write total returns. They still deserve to be given a full mark. And where did I see this? I saw this in the CAJ. And what is the amount for these? The amount for these in the creditors allowance is 12,200. So I'll write 12,200 here. Now what we are left with next is to check what is the balance of that particular cash payment. Now I want to maybe show you a trick that you can use. So let's see, if you look at this, if you look at our cash payment journal here, normally for me, what I do, I always advise my learners to use tricks, so you should also use it. If you look at all these things, for us here, if you look at this, remember, we have our bank figure here. It has a debit balance. We have trading stock. Remember, at the end of the day, these things should be the same, right? They should be, how do I put it, the information should correspond, right? So if you check this, our trading stock is 30,400 we bought. Then what you can do is to try to check which accounts were credited, which accounts were debited, right? Now what we can do here is to check then. So let's check. We can maybe write the information somewhere. I will insert a table so that we don't get lost. So the things that are on the debit side, I'm going to put them one side. The things that are supposed to be on the credit side, I'm going to put them one side. So let's check here. What is debited? If you look at this, bank trading stock has a debit balance. So I'll say this side debit, this side credit. So my trading stock, according to this, the amount is 30,400, right? Then what else is debited? I have my wages, which is an expense, so it also has a debit balance. So I'll write wages. What is the amount? My wages is 22,200. So then we credit bank, right? Maybe let me make bank the last one. So remember, what is credited here is our discount received, and so say discount received for $1.6. Then we have our creditors control is a question mark. We have our bank. So creditors control it's a question mark, but we know that bank is 74,200. So bank is 74,200. Now when it's like this, if you look at this, creditors control, actually it will be on the debit side because it is decreasing and we are paying. So what we can do to get that difference, remember the discount will not affect your bank figure. In this case, we are just trying to find out how much was actually paid to the creditors. So if we say 74,200, and then we subtract our 22,200 for wages, and we also subtract the 30,400 for trading stock, it will give us the 21,600. This discount we cannot use it because we don't know what exactly was it for, so it will give us 21,600. So this 21,600 will then be the figure that was paid to the creditors. Remember, when you pay them, you are paying them that amount that does not include the discount. Okay, this is what you are actually giving them. We don't know whether that discount you ended on the payment of like, we don't know how you got it, so we will not include it here. So that 21,600 will come here. Okay, and then from there, all we have to do is to then close this down. So as you can see, this side is not equal to this side, but we can just check. If you say 22,000 plus 32,000, it is giving us 54,000. So we have that 54,000 here, and then also that 54,000 here for the total here. And then from there, remember here on the 30th, we need to have a balance carried down. So we have that balance carried down, and here on 2023 May the 1st, we'll write that balance carried down that we got. So there's 54,000 minus 21,600 and minus 54,000, minus 12,200 gives us 20,200. So it means that our balance carried down will be 20,200, which will also be our balance brought down here. $20,200. So we are done with this lesson. There were some learners who requested me to do a video on posting, so this is the part, guys. I cannot do all the accounts, but you get a gist of what this deals with. So please make sure that you watch this lesson, share this with your friends. I know that you are writing the following day, so make use of this video. Make sure that you watch it as much as you can. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and to also share this lesson with your friends. Thank you.